Okay, so this is the Xiaomi Mi 11i Hypercharge with India's first 120 watt fast charging, 120Hz AMOLED display, MediaTek Dimensity 920, but at the price of 27,999 INR. So the question that has to be asked is, should you buy the Mi 11i or the Mi 11i Hypercharge? And should you buy this or wait for the upcoming Redmi Note 11 series? And the most important section of the video, which we'll talk towards the end, why is the Mi 11i expensive compared to the Chinese counterpart Redmi Note 11 series? So make sure you don't miss the end of the video. This is Prateek, you're already watching TechWiser, and we'll answer all your questions. But before that, let's quickly unbox this special box. So you have this booklet explaining charging and all the specs. You get an hourglass, some more books. This is really cool. As you know, your phone speaker sounds a lot loud and bassy if you keep it on a wooden stand or a wooden furniture. So this is my normal Pixel sound. So yes, the sound gets a bit loud and bassy. I would definitely buy this. Anyways, these are the different Mi 11i colors that you would get. Now, if you buy the phone, you'll get this retail box. As always, you get the phone, a case, some paperwork, a SIM ejector tool, and you get a hybrid SIM card slot. So you can put either 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card and an SD card. This is the 120 watt charger. It's heavy, but it's small. Like here, have a look. This is a MacBook 65 watt charger. And this is the new MacBook Air M1 30 watt charger. It's almost the size of the 30 watt charger. Now, you might be wondering, how did they do that? How is this 120 watt charger so small? Well, the magic behind this is gallium nitride. So basically, gallium nitride is a semiconductor material that releases less heat. So charging components can be kept a lot closer, which reduces the overall charger size. I love this, and if you love these facts, subscribe to TechWiser to stay wiser and hit that bell icon as well. So now that we have the phone out, let's check India's first 120 watt fast charging. So currently the battery in Mi 11i Hypercharge is 36%. Let's keep in charge while we talk. Also, Mi 11i Hypercharge doesn't charge in 15 minutes by default. It takes 18 minutes. You have to turn on this boost charging speed to charge it in 15 minutes. And now when I plug the charger, you will see this yellow 120 watt max animation. This means it's charging at the fastest speed and it will charge full in 15 minutes. Now, let's set a stopwatch. So now, how does Xiaomi do this 15-minute fast charging? The 4500 mAh battery is split into 2 batteries, 2250 mAh, and the 120 watt charger can charge both of them simultaneously. So now Xiaomi uses a bit of graphene in the battery to make it charge fast. Now graphene is very expensive and hence no one makes an entire battery from graphene. They use a little bit of it on cathode cells. School physics, which gives a crazy result. Like, it's been 3 minutes 40 seconds, roughly 4 minutes now. So it's charged to 62% in just 4 minutes. Now you would ask, Prateek, how safe is this? Well, if you look at the phone's surface temperature, it's about 31.4 degrees max. And if you see, the battery temperature is about 33.9 degrees Celsius. And even as per Xiaomi, it's no different than normal smartphone batteries. But how will this 120 watt charging be in long term? How would be the battery life later? How will the charging temperature be? That's all of it is one thing to see in a full review, if you guys want it, of course. But one suggestion to Xiaomi, Apple gives you the option to check battery health in the phone. I couldn't find any such option in Mi 11i Hypercharge. Now, this is the problem with Android operating system, but if Xiaomi could give an option to check battery health, that would be great. Now, the phone is quite handy, and this is a slim phone, like 8.3mm, and this is a square phone. Now, it's not that iPhone square, like it cannot stand on itself. There are small curves at the end to make sure you can hold it and it's not sharp at the edges. So not bad. It has that camera bump you see, but if you use a cover, it shouldn't bother you that much. Now it's got a glass back, and on the front, you get Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection. The frame is, however, plastic. Now, the display is a 120Hz Full HD AMOLED display, and here if you see, it gets about 1000-1200 nits. And while we were measuring the HDR brightness, It's a weird bug. Like you see, when you run an HDR video, it gets bright for a split second and then it again gets dim. So Xiaomi should fix this with a software update. Now it's a good display. If you look at the blacks or even the viewing angles, it's a good display. And on Netflix, it has wideband L1 and it supports HDR10 on Netflix. That's really good. I've always complained about having a good display and then not providing HDR on Netflix. And on Prime Video, it plays 1080p right out of the box. Now, you also get stereo speakers on the Mi 11i and also, it's an AMOLED display, but you get a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. Now, personally, I don't mind a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. It's faster than an under-display fingerprint sensor for sure. Now, performance is very interesting here. You get MediaTek's new Dimensity 920 here, 6GB LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB UFS 2.2 storage. This is the first Dimensity 920 phone I'm using. Now, we have had the phone only for 24 hours as of now. So we asked you guys on Twitter and you wanted to see BGMI settings. So it supports extreme 60 FPS on smooth graphics and ultra frame rates on HDR graphics. Gameplay was really good for the 10-15 minutes I played. And I don't understand what's up with Call of Duty and MediaTek chipset. Like here if you see, max frame rates at low graphics, very high frame rates at medium graphics. So it shouldn't bother you if you don't play Call of Duty. Now I also did a CPU throttling test for 15 minutes. No major throttling as such. And as I said, I'll have to test this phone more, use it on a daily basis to understand the performance. I don't want to just show you benchmarks and claim good performance based on AnTuTu scores. Coming to the camera, you get a 108 megapixel main sensor and the photos were decent. Like this is overcast conditions, so the photos were a bit contrasty. The dynamic range was average. You also get an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera which is decent in outdoor lights. In indoor lights, I found a lot of noise and it wasn't that sharp. And of course, you get a 2 megapixel macro camera. The photos from the macro camera was not something to talk about. You also get a 16 megapixel front selfie camera. The photos were sharp from it. And in videos, you can also shoot 4K 30 FPS. Here is the video quality. But looking at the stabilization, I'll stick to 1080p 60 FPS. Now, in terms of software, I could see very little bloat this time. Like you have the Xiaomi apps like Mi Pay, Mi Credit, Mi Store. Most of them can be uninstalled. Now, it's a bit off to see Android 11 right out of the box. It should be Android 12, but you get MIUI 12.5 right out of the box. So in my one day of usage, I found the UI to be smooth. The 120Hz screen really helps. Also, you get Google Dialer, so
this call is now being recorded.
You have all the important sensor, proximity sensor, gyro, Wi-Fi 6, compass, etc. Also, it has the IR blaster and the headphone jack. So one of the few phones in this segment to have a headphone jack and IR blaster. You get 8 bands of 5G. I also tried carrier aggregation on this phone and I could get it with my Airtel SIM. Now finally to the question, why Xiaomi Mi 11i is so expensive compared to the Chinese variant? Well, see, Mi 11i Hypercharge is Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus in China. The Chinese pricing is roughly 1899 yuan, which is 23,298 INR. 24,000 you can consider, and Redmi Note 11 Pro is 1599 yuan, which is Mi 11i in India, and that is 19,802 INR. Now I agree, in India is priced about 4,000 costly because in India it's coming under Xiaomi branding and not the Redmi branding. Now to compensate that, Xiaomi is offering about 2,500 off on SBI cards, 1,499 off on prepaid orders and some extra 500 rupees Mi community coupon. This brings the Mi 11i price to 21,499 from 24,999 and the Mi 11i Hypercharge price to 23,499 from 26,999. But not everyone has an SBI card. Still, you can get 2,000 off with that prepaid offer and coupon. Now, you might get the upcoming Redmi Note 11 and Redmi Note 11 Pro series by next month or March. That is really exciting. And between Mi 11i and Mi 11i Hypercharge, well, Mi 11i has 67 watt charging and a bigger 5160 mAh battery, and Mi 11i Hypercharge has a 4500 mAh battery and 120 watt charging. Rest, everything is the same. So if you ask me to pick, I'll probably pick Mi 11i. Fast charging is actually a personal preference and you can choose Mi 11i Hypercharge. And good that Xiaomi has a choice. If you don't want the 120 watt fast charging, you can consider the same phone with the same specs at a cheaper price. But consider is the important keyword. This is not a full review and we don't want you to buy products based on first impressions. Watch the full review, subscribe for that, hit the bell icon. So a review of this phone definitely makes sense. On that note, this is Prateek signing off, and here's a video where you can check we have rated smartphone brands in 2021. So see ya pretty soon.